If you've been here before for a Christmas Eve service, you will know that the normal pattern that we have here at St. Paul's is that all the sconces that we have on the walls of the sanctuary are lit for this service. Beginning with the first Sunday in Advent, we light the sconces in the very back, and then we come up with the groups of sconces, the first Sunday, second Sunday, third, fourth, until finally we get up to the sconces that are on the walls facing out towards you and the sconces behind us. And of course, we have the Moravian Star of Bethlehem lit on this night. And you'll be able to see that in a few moments if you haven't seen it already. For me, and I imagine for you, the highlight of the service is when Jane plays Silent Night on guitar. And we sing Silent Night with the first verse in German. There are those in our church who grew up with German, Pennsylvania Dutch, as part of their language as young people. And it will still bring a tear to your eye if you hear it played and sung that way. We put the church into almost total darkness. And then we light the candles as we sing the lovely carol that was first performed in a small village in Austria just over 200 years ago. And the darkness reminds us, of course, of the darkness of a stable on that first night of Christmas so long ago in Bethlehem. Ironically, we need the darkness here in this room not only to remember the setting that night, but also to enable us to see and experience more fully the light of our candles. We turn down distracting lights in order to see the light of Christ more clearly. Christmas Eve is a time to turn down other lights, to enter the darkness, to be mindfully present to the light of Christ. In the Gospel of John, we hear these words, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it." We find ourselves in strange circumstances this Christmas Eve night in 2020. Tonight, for perhaps the first time ever in the 236th year of the life of our congregation, I don't know, maybe the Spanish flu pandemic 100 years ago caused similar circumstances, but we're sitting in our homes, watching the worship service on our television, computer, iPad. The darkness of the world seems overwhelming this year. And to be honest, it feels that way to us this evening. And it's not so much a physical darkness as it is a spiritual darkness. We are overwhelmed with life on this night, and we are trying to make sense of things. And the contrast with the light that Christ brings makes it all the more intense. What are we to be as people of faith in days like these? There are competing narratives, competing stories that are available to us. We can continue to be in despair over the surge of the pandemic, over the tribalism that has descended upon our peoples, over the choices we have to make, over the desperation we often feel in these times. Or we can remember these words, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it." What story do you think we ought to prefer? We're not holding little candles in our hands like we normally do, but we do sing a song that celebrates a nearly unbelievable story. That God came to earth as a human, as a baby, and we say that this baby is the light of the world. But we are here because we believe, that is, we rely on the narrative that says the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. We will not believe the alternate narrative of hopelessness and despair. We will not believe the narrative that violence is the solution to violence, nor that hatred in kind is the appropriate response to being hated. We will belong to those who, instead of cursing the darkness, light a candle. And we will live in the light of this candle, the light of hope, the light of peace, the light of joy, the light of love. This is our story. This is the Christmas story. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Amen.